Hi, everybody. My name's Ginny Schuster. I'm with Contact Mapping, and I am eager to introduce to you Dr. Kimberly Glow. And as you can tell, Glow is the perfect name for her because she does glow. And we want to talk about your medical practice and your book. So let's get started. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Okay, so I'm new to Colorado. I relocated here right before COVID lockdown, and I came here with the goal of opening up my own private practice, serving women in the perimenopausal age group. And I chose to do that. That's my passion because I realized as a woman who's also in menopause that we don't get the care that we deserve in most cases. And we go through a lot of different changes during this time in our lives. And oftentimes we feel very misunderstood and alone. And I know from my own personal experience, as well as, talking to friends who were very close to me, that we all kind of felt the same way, that we'd go to our gynecologist, we'd want to talk about these things, and we'd all be told the same thing. Oh, don't worry about it. That's just part of aging, ignore
Exactly.
that. This is what you have to go through. Deal with it. It, was one of the famous ones I loved that hearing. And so I realized that there is a better way. And I decided to form a practice to basically treat women how I have always wanted to be treated, but never found that in another physician. So that's my whole business model, literally, is to treat patients the way I want to be treated and to form partnerships with patients where women are just in control of their wellness journey. If they're not looking at me for all the answers, they're not looking at me to fix everything, but that we really form a true partnership together. And I really help and support them so that they can then take over that healing process, because the body innately is very intelligent, and bodies were not built to be diseased. Bodies were actually built to remain in a homeostatic, balanced state. And so the question then, becomes, what is happening to create this imbalance within the body? And that can happen for a variety of reasons. And so my job with these women is really to help untangle all of these, what looks like complications from the surface, because things can look quite complicated when people come in with a list of issues. But when you take the time to tease through it, you see that there's often a few underlying causes where all of these things kind of fit into a few baskets, and it's actually not as complicated as people think. And when we take the time to really look at that and then empower, I help to empower them so that they can figure out what they need to do in order to sort of turn that thing around and get things working well again. And so most of my patients in the last 10 years that I've been doing this have gotten off their medications, have reversed their autoimmune diseases.
Wow.
And yeah, have really really made tremendous strides and feel amazing now. And so so that's my mission.
Wow, that's amazing. Kimberly, where is your office?
So my office is in Longmont, and
Okay.
I'm right off of Nelson and Airport Road.
Okay.
And I'm located in a healthcare collaborative called Circle of Health.
Okay. Okay. In that little shopping center that's there?
Yeah, and it's really fun for me because they have the Cycle Hops, which is right there, which has this amazing tacos. And then Robin's is there, and she's a chocolate, is it a chocolatier? Did I say that right?
Oh, right. Yes.
And she did her training in France, and she makes the most unbelievably decadent and gorgeous chocolates you can ever imagine.
I bet that's addicting.
And it's just, I just have to, yeah. So it's a lot of fun though. It's a nice area.
Yeah, I did go there one time because I felt really bad about something that I had said to somebody, and I wanted to appease her. So I wrote her a note, and somebody told me about that place. That was the first time I'd heard about it. and she put together the nicest little box for me of chocolates that I won the girl back.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah.
They're amazing.
So you've been in practice for 10 years.
Well, actually, I've been a physician now for almost 25 years.
So when you first started out, that wasn't your mission, but it slowly grew into this.
Yeah, interestingly, and I'll just say quickly, I started out as a pediatrician and was a pediatrician first, and then went back, had more training, and became an adolescent and young adult medicine specialist. And then with that training, that sort of led me more into colposcopies and gynecology and women's health and working for Planned Parenthood and just doing a lot of different things. And then I decided to go back and do training in functional and integrative medicine. I did more training in herbal certification, advanced nutrient therapies, flower essence therapies, energy healing.
Wow.
Did yoga teacher training. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so, being in my 50s now and practicing now for like I said, almost 25 years, I just find ways to keep reinventing myself and I guess in a way, really keeping up with the times, because medicine is changing all the time. And the more we learn, the more things change. And I do believe now that energy medicine is really the medicine of the future. And so a big part of my practice now really focuses on energy medicine, because energy is what underlies everything. Energy is what underlies our biochemistry. It's what underlies our physiology. And so
I totally agree. And I've been noticing, because of myself, they call it the sandwich generation, don't they? Where I don't know whether it's your age or whether this is happening to you. Maybe it's a little bit younger, but people who have these intense jobs are not only taking care of their kids, but they're also taking care of adults. So I did find the name was called sandwich or caregiver. And that is so stressful and zaps your energy so quickly. So you deal with that.
Yeah, it is the sandwich generation completely. I haven't found myself in that yet. However, my mother is one of those women who was sandwiched like crazy for so many years. And it takes a toll, because women are inherently givers. And so we often tend to overgive at the expense of ourselves. And unfortunately, when we realize it, it's often too late. And what I mean by too late is we realize it once we become sick, once we have symptoms, once we're exhausted, then we're all of a sudden able to say, wow, like, look what's happened to me, because I really wasn't paying attention. I was giving so much. And so, yeah, that's one of the things that I'm working on with the women in my practice, is establishing boundaries. I'm not telling women they can't be in the sandwich generation and help people. It's not about walking away from responsibilities or walking away from your loved ones, but it's really about how can we fit all of the things in our lives and in our days that we need to fit in, but in a way that still is healthy and serves us and still creates a feeling of being energized and not starting to feel resentful or not starting to feel, angry or, and it's not easy. I'm not saying it's not Pollyanna, what I'm saying, but if you know how to do these things, and these are tools I teach, it really is completely life-changing. And I can say this on a personal note, even though I wasn't that sandwich, person, in terms of taking care of older and younger generations, I went through several really bad autoimmune diseases in my life, and I was very sick for a long time. And with the approach that I teach women, I was able to reverse my autoimmune diseases, and I'm not on any medication, and I'm doing great.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, one thing to think about is it's also, if you're in a larger family, there's also the guilt sometimes that other siblings can put on you that is also draining.
And the guilt that we put on ourselves and allow, yeah, because the reality is, and I realize this, people can say or do whatever they want. It's our response to that that matters. And it's our
Yes.
perception of that. And it's what we decide to own. So if we decide to own, that projection of guilt from somebody else, then that's on us. So ultimately, everything really comes back to ourselves all the time, and how we decide we're going to hold ourselves, and in what alignment are we going to hold ourselves. And so for me, that's been a huge game changer, because I used to take on those energies, and I used to literally take all those energies in, and not only would it drain me, but it would mess with me mentally too.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to just say, okay, wait a second, what's happening here? Step back, be the witness. And this is something I learned from my yoga, teacher training and my experience in yogic philosophy. It's like, take a step back and just be the witness, watch what is happening, and look at your engagement in the situation.
Because, that's amazing.
Yeah, because when you're able to do that and step out, all of a sudden there's some more clarity there, because you're not just looking at it from the inside. And so that's actually one of the ways I work with my women too, is help them learn to be the witness.
Well, that also means that you must help with their confidence, because you have to be confident and solid in yourself in order to give back and know how to handle the situation, so that you do gain all the energy that you need to do it. So maybe those two things could work together, confidence and energy.
Well, absolutely. And you actually said something quite profound. In order to do this type of work, you have to spend a lot of years doing your own work. And I still have coaches. I mean, to this day, I have coaches. It's kind of like when they say a psychiatrist needs a psychiatrist, or a therapist needs a therapist. It's the same thing, because the hard thing about this work is, if you don't stay neutral, and you don't have the ability to do that yourself, you can actually bring your energy into that patient's situation in a way that's negative and detrimental to them, because you're bringing your energy into it. And I can say, years ago, I used to do that all the time. I didn't do that on purpose. I did it unwittingly, because I wasn't where I am now. And so that really changed everything. So that's a beautiful thing you just said. That's a huge part of the work, is that, the person who's helping you has to also be able to maintain that same, be the witness, and be able to handle their own energies and not transfer that. And so when I wrote, like, if I can mention the book I wrote.
Yes, please do.
So I wrote this book, Alchemize Your Divorce. And it came out on Amazon in November. And you may wonder, why does a medical doctor writing a book on divorce? It sounds more like therapy or something, but it's actually not. And this book came about because I had already spent 10 years healing from a traumatic relationship at the time I wrote this book. And so had I have tried to write the book earlier, it would have been a completely different book. It would have been filled with a lot of negative energy, and it probably would have been an ugly book to read, quite honestly, or at least whoever read it would have come away probably feeling worse for reading it.
Uh-oh.
Right. So what would be the point? And so this book, I actually never thought about writing. It was the oddest thing. I've met so many people in my life who have said they've had these downloads where it's like they're walking, and all of a sudden a vision comes to them, or they have some kind of dream that changes their life. Even like Stephanie Meyers, who wrote the Twilight series. She said she dreamt the whole Twilight series.
Wow, wow.
So when you hear those things, it's such a profound thing, and you think, wow, that's amazing. I've never had that happen. I've never had this download. Well, here it is.
And there it is, right there.
This download. It was during COVID and COVID lockdown. And I'm sitting with my husband, Nevin, and I said to him, do you realize I feel so grateful that you're in my life and I like you? because if I didn't like you, this would be hell, to be locked with you constantly.
Good
And we're
point.
in a strange place where we don't have friends, we don't know people, and we're alone. And so it was such a profound realization to me that I'm in this place where I have this relationship that is so healthy and loving and supportive. And I could be locked with this man in a room for the rest of my life and be fine. Like this kind
Wow.
of, exactly,
Wow.
was a wow for me too.
What a realization. How
so
beautiful.
When that happened, all of a sudden this book just kind of, because I thought to myself, I'm a woman who's been divorced twice. And I didn't have that to say before in my life. And I'm in my 50s now. And so that means the majority of my life, I literally could never say that. And so it was such a profound thing for me that I thought, if there are women out there now who are locked in a room with a man who's driving them crazy, or even more sad, you know, locked in a room with someone who they truly feel doesn't see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, like, there's no connection, or that they're just not being seen for who they are, and that their heart is just hurting. And because I just know what that feels like. I just thought, if I can write a book for these women to give them some light, to give them some hope. And so the book is an experience, by the way. It's not just a book.
Well, I want to add to that, though. You did mention to me that it's even for women who are happy where they are.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that we say that as well. It doesn't mean necessarily that you're unhappy and you're looking for a divorce, but it opens your eyes to a lot of other things.
Yeah, actually, maybe I should have retitled this in a lot of different ways, but yeah, this could be like, if you don't want to get a divorce, like, let's say you don't want a divorce, read the book.
Right, there you go.
Because the book is really, it's an experience. And when I use the word alchemize, I mean that sincerely. Like, I want you to alchemize all of the things in your life that, you know, you feel maybe aren't going right, or you feel like there's a darkness or something's missing. If you can take all of that energy and alchemize that into something that is beautiful, you know, something
now,
that
I have to tell you, I had to look up the word.
Okay.
So do you want to say what the word means?
Yeah, so in my view, when I look at this, I want you to alchemize your experiences into a new beginning. I want you to alchemize that into something amazing and into energy that you can take with you for the rest of your life, so that you're literally a joy spreader. You're spreading love, light, joy everywhere you go. And I mean that with all sincerity. I don't mean that in some kitschy, goofy way, because when you start to embrace the stuff that I'm talking about in this book, and you truly embrace it, you can't help that. That's what your heart, you know, is sending out everywhere you go. And this is one of the reasons I work with energy. Our heart is the most energetic thing in our body, and we're sending energy out from our heart to everything around us all the time. And it
Wow.
And so when you can get your energy right, and your energy is, you know, vibrating at a higher frequency, and you're sending out this positive energy, your life begins to change miraculously without you even making other efforts, because that energy is being picked up by everything around you, and serendipities and synchronicities begin to happen, that you're just flooded with this positive stuff, you know, constantly. And this is my experience with even being here in Colorado. I can't tell you the amazing people I have met and the strange and serendipitous circumstances that have happened since I've gotten here. And I know, honestly, it's because of the energy that I'm putting out there.
I believe it. Glow. You're glowing.
Yeah, and
it's happening.
So many people have asked me, did I change my name? No, I was born with this name, and I don't think it was an accident. You know, I do believe that, you know, my dharma is to be here now helping women. And I've expanded my medical practice now to open up an LLC where I can coach women across the country. And that's because of this deep sense I have of wanting to help women experience this amazing turnaround that I've experienced. by doing these simple practices. And I will tell you that yoga is the foundation, really, of all of this.
Oh, interesting.
Yoga is what saved my life. And maybe we can get into that in another discussion at another time.
It. Yes. Now, do you mention something about signing a book for people if they were interested in something like that?
Yeah, because I'm so excited to get this book out to people, I went ahead and I bought myself, I think it's a box of 25 books that I have that I purchased.
Okay.
And I would be really happy to gift those to, the first 25 people who want to write in, leave a comment.
Message to you and make a comment.
That would be great. And I will send you a signed copy. I would love to do that. And I would love to send positive energy your way.
Oh, that's so fun. Now, I know time is short. Is there anything else that you'd like to cover before we close the interview?
I guess there's so much to say, but I guess if you're on a journey right now that you're feeling a little lost, you're feeling like you're, looking for some guidance, reach out to me, because I would really love to help you and be a partner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is so wonderful. I love your mission, and I thank you so much. Do you like to be called Kimberly or Kim or Glow?
You know what? I'm actually fine with everything now. I've gotten myself so, right with myself now that I went through these weird phases where I had to change my name, and I went from Kim to Kimberly. And that's kind of an interesting story because I was trying to rediscover and reinvent myself. And now I've come full circle because I've gone through this whole thing that now, honestly, it's like everything is fine.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I am so glad I met you. And just a little tip, I met you through the Longmont Chamber of Commerce. We were reaching out to membership and thanking them for being members. And I am so honored that I got this opportunity to chat with you. So thank you, Kimberly, so much. I really appreciate your time. And I've enjoyed our chat. We've gone way overboard. We have to do it again.
Okay, I would love that. Thank you, Ginny, so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I've loved it. You take care.
Thanks.
All right.